and welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith with. It's the interview series presented by WFPK and WFPK.org, Consequence, and the Consequence Podcast Network. Thanks as always for making your way here, for checking out the series. Of course, do hope you hit that subscribe button so you can keep up with all the interviews that we put out every single week. It's a new one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. 3 interviews a week to keep you up to date on your favorite artists and discover those new ones, all the usual places, including Spotify, Apple Podcast, at NPR, WFPK.org, Consequence, YouTube for the video versions, or anywhere you get your podcast from, you can subscribe to Kyle Meredith with. That's me, Kyle Meredith, today talking with actress Mary Holland. You know Mary Holland from movies like The Woman in the House Across the Street, or maybe Senior Year, among many, many other things. She's such a really fun performer when she's there on the screen. She's back in Jake Johnson's new movie called Self Reliance. And that's what we're going to be talking about. This is a movie that Jake, of course, he wrote, he directed, and he starred in. It tells a story of a man who's offered $1 million in a dark web reality TV show, as long as he can stay alive for a month, with a bunch of hidden assassins coming after him as he tries to get his family to think that he's not crazy. So Mary and I are going to talk about how she knows Jake, getting the role, what it's like working on a set like this with so many great actors. We're going to talk about her writing the Happiest season, maybe even poking her a little bit to get a sequel out of it as well, and a whole lot more. This is a really fun one, so let's jump into it. We're talking Self Reliance, which is showing now on Hulu. It's Kyle Meredith with Mary Holland. I should also say, as far as the compliments go, I love every time you're on the screen, by the way. And it's sometimes a surprise and you pop on and it just makes everything better. And I got to say the same thing about Self Reliance. It's such a fun movie. The whole cast is amazing. And I freaking love seeing you and what you've done in it.
Thank you. That really means a lot. Thank you so much.
So, I guess we should start with the obvious little part here. How did you end up with Jake Johnson in this movie?
Well, Jake's a good buddy of mine, and I worked with him a handful of times. I did an episode of New Girl, and then I did a commercial that he directed, and so I've known him for years. And when the audition opportunity came through for this movie, I was of course over the moon to get the chance to audition for him, let alone hopefully work with him. So yeah, I got on a Zoom with him and the casting director, and we talked about the character, and we played a bit, we read a few scenes, and yeah, that's sort of how it all came together. But he's such a visionary. Like, he really knows what he wants and what he wanted for this movie, and the family is such an important aspect of the story. We are his touchstone in life, but at the same time we do not believe him even a little bit. So I think that's a really that there's sort of a balance that needs to happen there, where the family isn't antagonistic towards him, but there is a sort of cut the BS aspect to it. So he was really specific about what he wanted with that.
Yeah, I mean, that premise was set up so good to not believe someone.
Exactly.
With everything going on, with the way Tommy is, like, it's so easy, and seeing you and Emily, and as sisters, and the way the personalities come out.
Yeah,
I'd love to hear that part of the conversation too. And I've talked with her about this, but she gets to be a little bit more the sarcastic one. Is yours a bit more the stern one, would you say?
Yeah, I think my character kind of took on a parental role in this family when their dad left. I think our mother isn't super strong-willed, has a hard time putting her foot down, can sort of be manipulated by all three of us. And so I think my character really fulfilled that role of the disciplinarian in the family, the like parent who does put their foot down and won't put up with any nonsense, and like it sort of enforces boundaries in a boundaryless family. So that was definitely how I saw her, and I think it's really fun with Emily's character because she's a little kooky. She like is a bit mischievous. She enjoys the sort of absurdity of this whole situation. And that's really nice to contrast with my character, who's like, stop.
Mhm.
It's just like wants the nonsense to be over. Yeah.
I really need more scenes with the two. I need a movie maybe with the two of you all, the sister
I'm,
play. That's it.
I'm in. I'll sign the contract today.
Now the other side of it, because Daryl Johnson, he plays your husband. Now
Yeah.
I was like, you all have history, is that right? Like real history?
Yeah, Daryl and I know each other from the comedy community. We do improv comedy together here in LA. So I've known him for a few years in that world, and so it was really fun to get to do this movie with him.
Yeah, that's yeah. I don't know how often that happens. In like you, LA's a big place, California's a big place, and Hollywood's a small town, right? Like,
That's right. Yeah, it is. It is, and especially in I feel like in comedy specifically, that it really does feel like a small world. You run into a lot of the same people, and if you're in the community where you're performing live a lot, you run into so many people, you play with so many people, you get really comfortable with each other. So it is really nice to get to just show up on set and be like, oh yeah, I know, yeah, this is my friend, we work together. Yeah.
yeah, like that puts you. I'm guessing that puts you so far ahead of getting comfortable with
Yeah,
somebody.
definitely. It puts you immediately at ease. There's a trust there, which is
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
With a movie like this, and I've said this too, like an original movie. I don't see anything else like this right now.
Yeah.
You don't know what's coming. You don't know how it's played for. And looking at the roles that you land in recently, whether it's Maggie Moore's, whether it's the
Hmm.
Door Prize, I mean, what do you it seems like this is what you would look for. Not everybody gets lucky and that they end up in what they want. How does
Yeah,
it work for you?
exactly.
Because this is what it looks like for you.
Yeah, it's definitely, I feel so lucky, and you're exactly right that it's totally the type of role and project that I look for and aspire to be in, where it's I crave, I'm sure every actor feels this, but I crave an opportunity to dabble in a multitude of genres and a multitude of characters. And this movie is a genre of its own. It's a comedy, but it's an action. It's a thriller. It's like it has it's such a unique combination of genres that makes it its own genre. And it was exactly the opportunity came to me and was like, yes, this is, when you think about, oh, how do I want to, you don't have much agency as an actor, but the agency you do have to like craft a career or a sort of a resume of like projects. This came to me, and it was like this is exactly the kind of thing I would want to do, this type of movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess I'm asking further on that too, because again, because of what the script is, because of all the things that you just said, like what was that first reading like for you? I mean, I guess it gets pitched in one way, and I don't know what that is either,
Yeah.
but then what was that when you actually, get the pages?
Oh God, I couldn't put it down. I loved it. It's in the same way the movie has such momentum and has such great pacing, and there's never a dull moment. It's really action packed. It felt the same way reading the script. I read it. I read it, of course, in one sitting, but I read it super quickly. Was so into it, and I'm such a fan of Jake's as an actor and also as a director. But I think he is. He as a performer, I sort of just marvel at him. Like I kind of watch him perform and marvel at it and take notes as an actor. And so knowing he was going to be at the helm of this, it was such an easy thing to sign on to. And the movie reminded me of that short story I read in high school that I've never been able to stop thinking about, called The Most Dangerous Game. I don't know if you've read that short story,
Yeah,
but
I didn't read the short story. I've actually seen the 1930s movie though.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I haven't seen the movie, but yeah, it reminded me of that, and I love the idea of having to rely on relationships and connection to survive
Mhm.
in a truly life or death situation. I think that's such a clever premise and
Yeah.
so ripe for conflict. Yeah,
And it just seems like something that would actually happen when you put
totally.
the word dark web in any
I know.
line,
It's like
suddenly you get any license to do anything, right?
it's so true. Yes. It's so true. And it was so funny how he wove in like Andy Samberg's just hired by this and he doesn't know anything about it. He's just like, yeah, I'll go do this thing
But
for
he
an
took the
hour.
job. Andy
Took the
Samberg
job.
took the fictional job as much as the real job too.
That's
I'll throw
right.
that question out. If Andy Samberg rolls up in a limo to you,
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't know Andy at this point. Do you get in?
Yeah. I think anybody would. You get a chance to get in a limo with Andy Samberg, you got to say yes to it.
Yeah.
Say yes to the dress,
It's only what comes next that maybe you second guess a little bit.
Exactly. Well, you can't plan that far in advance. You just got to go moment to moment. And if that moment, falls into your lap, you got to do
Get in the limo
it.
with Andy Samberg. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, talking about the multiple roles, you like Jake, writer. Jake's writing, directing, and starring.
Yeah.
You as a writer as well, and everything that you do. Like, do you see something in this production that you don't usually see? Like, I guess what I'm asking is it different when you're working with someone who's taking on those specific multiple roles?
With Jake, he really made it look effortless. He sort of seamlessly transitioned between all those roles as we were shooting. Like on set, I almost didn't even clock it when he would take one hat off and put the other hat on. It was just sort of, it felt effortless for him. And he also, I think, had assembled a team around him that really got his vision and what he was going for. And so he was supported in such a way where I think he was just able to kind of wear all those hats simultaneously.
Yeah. How
Yeah,
does it work for you then? I mean, we'll back up to, of course, to the happiest season. I mean,
sure.
that
Yeah.
that found you playing the multiple role. Like, is it a big
Yeah.
change when that happens for you?
It a little bit, but it almost, that movie, Clea as the director, I definitely, once we had gone through the writing process and the script was in a place where it was time for her as a director to step in and take it very much was like, yes, this is Clea's movie. And so the transitioning to being actor in that um, in that process was really straightforward and simple and felt very easy. Yeah, and Clea's she's such a she's also such a brilliant director and had such a strong vision that it sort of was just really organic. It didn't. I never at any time was like, oh, should I, you know, what's my role as a writer in this? It was super clear. It was,
Yeah.
yeah. I got to fully focus on being Jane, which was a delight.
Yeah, I'm sure, everybody's different, but there are certain personalities, but there's definitely a person, and I guess I'm asking which you are, like, you have to give up what you did at some point. Somebody's going to
Yes,
take that and make
yes,
their own, and you have
yes.
the people who's like, the Aaron Sorkins of the world's like every word has to be specifically said.
Yeah, yeah. I am not that at all. I think coming from an improv background, you can't really be precious about anything you create. It's all very ephemeral. It all kind of, and it shifts. Like you come in with an idea and someone else responds to it and it changes that idea. And so you can't cling to anything in that way. And I think that's I find it to be beneficial because inevitably the idea gets better when people are able to build on it and change it and for it to evolve and grow. So yeah, I definitely don't get too attached to initial ideas. and also like I really respond well to authority. So whenever somebody is like, I'm in charge, I'm like, great, you're in charge. I'm not in charge.
The same way on that. My wife will say that's because I'm a Libra. I don't know those things, but I say yes.
Just say yes. Yeah.
Because what I do is I say the Libra, it's the scales, so it's like, yeah, whatever, it's the scale.
I've never thought of the Libra as being the this emoji, but
It's,
that makes so much sense.
just you choose for me. I don't want to think. You tell me
Yeah,
what to
I'm
do. Tell me what to
balanced.
do.
I
That's
see pros and cons. Yeah.
um. When I mentioned to my friend that we were going to do this interview today, and I was going to bring up the Happiest season, the first thing she said
Mhm.
is, "Please ask if she's going to do a sequel."
Oh, oh my goodness. I would love it so much. I feel like I would just to be in that world and to get to be with those actors and those characters more would be such an honor, such a thrill, and I really hope. I would love to do it, but we'll see.
Yeah, putting it out there. Where that's what we're
Putting it
doing.
out
Putting it
there,
out there.
yeah.
Are you the type of writer that do you like to have the assignment given to you then, or do you like the blank page?
Oh gosh. Both are great. Both kind of lead to creative inspiration in different ways. I think I like to have a little something like a world or a character, a little something to start off with, like having a truly blank page where I'm coming in with nothing is going to lead to more blank page. So I need this is a little something, a little
Sure.
detail, something. Yeah.
It's not just the type like I'm just going to sit down and I'm just going to punch something out and
No,
yeah.
no. I think what would be punched out would make no sense.
As far as what else, I was looking around. I mean, if IMDb is to be trusted, there does look like some
Sure.
other stuff out there with the writing stuff. Of
Sure. Yeah.
course, I didn't write it. Not what am I thinking? Was it Niagara? Was that it?
Oh yeah, so Niagara Falls, that is a project I'm so excited about. I co-wrote it with my friend Nora Kirkpatrick, who's uh, an amazing director, and we're hoping to get to make that. But it's a really cool fantasy comedy romance movie that yeah, I hope we get to bring to fruition somehow.
Now, I think I also saw the words Lance Bass on there.
You did. Yeah. Lance Bass and Danielle Fishel brought me and Lauren Lapkus, who's one of my best friends and someone I write with a lot. They brought us on board to write a movie about their relationship because they dated when they were in high school. Lance took Danielle to her senior prom. So it's a really heartwarming story about friendship and self-discovery and yeah, that's another one that I'm really excited about.
It seems like a perfect story to put
Yeah.
out there. Yeah. I hope
Yeah.
that one makes it all the way. I know that's
I
always a
hope so
theme. Like
too.
just because it's here doesn't mean it's there. And
No,
yeah.
exactly. God, if only IMDb would tell you tangibly what's happening. I wish it did too. But I also think there is such a moment right now with the 90s nostalgia is a true thing that is happening culturally, but then also with my generation, coming of age at that time, just kind of looking back and seeing trends be brought back into fashion circulation, all of that. It's just so it feels like a good time for that story to come.
Yeah. I will say my son is 16 and when he takes a shower listens to the same songs that I was listening to in the shower in
Really?
the late 90s, and it's my wife says it's a little bit surreal, right?
Yeah. What kind of music? Was it like Nirvana?
There was some Nirvana a little bit later in
Yeah.
the 90s. He likes a little bit of late 90s alternative. In
Yeah.
I'll hear some Radiohead, but also hear like Lit and the Goo Goo Dolls and third like
Oh, the
it's
Goo Goo Dolls.
yeah.
Yes. Yes. And Green Day. Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
A lot of green,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah. It's a
it's
good,
that's
it's a
what I
good
so
era. He's
yes.
got good taste.
These guys, I didn't push it on him, but he took it himself. I'll take
Well,
it.
good for him.
Self Reliance, it's so good. This movie,
Thank you.
I really have been telling everybody about it, and I love what you all did with it. Mary, thank you so much
Thank you.
to talk about it. It's so nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
And thanks to my guest. Also, thanks to you for checking out the episode in the series. Before you get out of here, hit that subscribe button. Again, you get 3 brand new interviews every single week. New one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at right here on YouTube, or of course anywhere in podcast land, including iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podchaser, NPR, or WFPK.org as well. A great way to keep up with your favorite artists and discover new ones as well. Then after that, actually head over to WFPK.org. That's where I do a show Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. It's an hour full of song premieres, music news, anniversary spins, bonus interviews, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern at WFPK.org. Consequence has your music and film news. You can also find me on the social media spots, Facebook, Instagram, mostly on Twitter. All 3 of them, the address is at Kyle Meredith. Do hope you like and follow along. That does it for another edition. I'm Kyle Meredith. I'll see you next time.